Hey, what's up people? It is Reaperator here, and today we're going to be talking about Hogwarts Legacy. This is going to be my review now that I've gotten a little bit more time to play the game. I'm about 10 hours in right now, but I feel that I've gotten a pretty good grasp on the game and kind of what it has to offer. So let's get into all of that today. Now, right off the bat, I just want to say that because I have not finished the game yet, some of my opinions are going to be subject to change, but for the most part, I feel that I've gotten a pretty good grip on kind of what's going on with it. So today I just want to talk about the things I do like, the things I don't like, the in-betweens, and where I think that the devs could improve, as well as do I think it's worth the hype and the asking price. So without further ado, let me just say that this game has way more positives than it does negatives, and I want to talk about all of them today, starting with, and one of my favorite parts, is the gear system. Now, you can unlock gear in a bunch of ways, and I love that there's no microtransactions. It feels like an older style video game in that sense, where if you want to unlock cool stuff, you gotta explore, you gotta solve puzzles, you gotta do challenges, and I love that. That's something that most modern games are missing, because if you want to get anything cosmetic, you have to spend real world money, and I don't really like doing that, one, because I'm kind of cheap when it comes to gaming, and two, it's just not as rewarding. The other part I love about the gear system is when you unlock a piece of equipment, let's say you get a new cloak, right? Now, it might have better stats than the cloak you had before, but if you like the look of one and not the other, you can equip the thing that's good, and then you can change the appearance of it to be the thing that looks better, right? So that's what I've been doing a lot with my character. He has a ton of gear on, but not all of it I show as visible, and some of it I show as what it's not. It's a really great system because it lets you fully customize how you look and what attributes you get completely separate, and I love that system. Another thing that I find really enjoyable this game is the puzzles. Now, most of them are not too hard to figure out, but they are quite fun once you do crack it. And obviously, in the age of the internet, if there is anything that's too difficult, I of course just Google it, but it's a really fun thing that they added to this game, and there are so many puzzles. I've barely scratched the surface on them. Now, one of the things that I was most worried about for this game was, is the combat going to be fun and satisfying? Obviously, Gotham Knights, I didn't even purchase that game because everybody reviewed the combat as being boring and bland and generic. This game is far from that, let me tell you. The spell combos are super fun. You can kind of string them up and you get to choose 4 different spells on hand at any given time, but you can kind of switch between your presets, which I really like. So if you have more than 4 that you want to use at once, all you have to do is scroll and then you've got another 4 right there. Not only that, but you can kind of set up what's in that category to kind of go hand in hand with each other. For example, I really like using the Accio spell, which pulls an enemy towards you, and then you can use the Incendio spell, which casts like fire at them, but it's short range, so you got to kind of do it in tandem with each other, and it sets you up for really easy damage. You can also string combos midair with the basic attack. You can use Levioso to lift enemies up, string a few hits with your basic wand attack, and then you can pull them in with Accio, string a few more, and then at the end, if you want to finish it with an Incendio, that would probably kill most enemies that aren't like high health bosses. Really fun system though, and I love the use of Protego. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Spider-Man PS4, where you get a little symbol above your head letting you know when you should dodge. That's the other thing too. Protego is the protection spell, and that'll block certain attacks, but then there are other attacks that'll break your shield, and then you have to dodge roll. So there's 2 kind of defensive systems in place here, and I really like that. It makes the combat feel fresh and engaging because you kind of have to pay attention to what's what. Now, I really love the world building in this game. It's very faithful, from what I can tell, to the Harry Potter franchise itself. Now, I'm not versed in the books at all, and as for the movies, I've begun rewatching them, but I'm only on movie 4, but everything I can tell from the ambiance to the lore, it all seems to fit right in. The only thing that I think is different is ancient magic, but it's a cool system that they have in the game, so I'm not really too mad about it, and theoretically, it doesn't really break any lore. It may be just nobody knew about it in the Harry Potter franchise because it's not something that a lot of people do know about even in this game. Another thing I really like is the money system is done perfectly. One of my biggest gripes with Bethesda RPGs is money almost feels worthless a lot of the time. Like, a lot of the good stuff you want, you can just find by exploring, and I'm always going to pick that option over spending my money, which leads to me hoarding money in Bethesda games that I almost never spend. This game, so far, The money comes in a little slower than most games, from what I can tell, and you really do need it to progress to the game. There are a lot of things that the only way you can acquire them is by purchasing them, which I really like. I love when games kind of give you that push to actually spend your money and interact with vendors. A lot of games nowadays don't do that. Vendors are usually just like an easy solution most of the time to let you do something faster than you would have done it the other way. But I always find myself trying to stack money in case I need it. And lo and behold, most games you never really do need it, which leads to me just having a bunch of money. And then I still have all the good gear anyways, because you can just find it exploring. Now, another big problem that I thought the game might have had was that the NPCs would be a little boring, but they are actually all very well written. My favorite one that I've met so far is definitely Sebastian Sallow. He's a Slytherin student and he likes to break the rules, and he also has a kind of cool storyline where his sister is sick. I haven't gotten too far with that yet, but I like that they're giving their NPCs depth. It adds a lot of fun and it really makes you feel immersed in the world. The main quest itself is pretty intriguing so far. It kind of deals with a goblin named Ranrock working with a dude named Victor Rookwood. I'm not too sure on what exactly their motivations are yet, but it has something to do with your character and the fact that you can harness and wield ancient magic. It seems like they want access to it, and I picked up a note talking about something of how it'll propel goblin kind to be equal to wizards and witches. So I think there's going to be a lot of cool depth and backstory to the villain once I progress to the main story a little more. But so far, the mystery aspect of it is very intriguing, and I can't wait to find out more. The broom riding aspect was done perfectly. I also haven't unlocked all the upgrades that go with the brooms. I'm pretty sure you can make it go faster, and there's like a sprint ability kind of that's attached to it where you go faster for a brief moment. Pretty sure you can upgrade that a little bit. But overall, just broom riding is super fun. Really cool and a really good way to get around the world quickly. You don't have to rely on fast travel as much. You can just fly above everything. It's pretty cool. Progression in this game is slow and steady, and I really like that. I feel like in a lot of games, you'll start off being bad, and then within like a few hours of gameplay, you've pretty much learned all the game's mechanics already, and you're pretty overpowered compared to the enemies at your level already. This game doesn't quite feel like that. I mean, I'm 10 hours in and I still don't have all the main components unlocked. Like, I still don't have the mounts unlocked where you can ride hippogriffs. I still don't have the dark art spells. Those are all things that are going to come later. And I like that they kind of doled out your progression evenly instead of just putting it all in the beginning. Now, that being said, this game is not without its flaws, so let's get into that a little bit. The first one I noticed is that the game is a tad glitchy. Now, I believe there was a day one patch that came out because I did have the 72 hours early access. I bought the special edition to get that. And the game was, I noticed, significantly more glitchy during that period versus now that it's officially out. So I think the day one patch kind of helped solve a lot of those problems. And also, the glitches are pretty much almost all visual. I've had only like one glitch where I got out of the map, which was kind of my fault. I thought I was supposed to go into a lake area. Turns out you're not supposed to explore it, and I jumped through like a window, and I glitched through it into the lake, and then the whole map, I was just able to see through it like an x-ray. But it solved itself pretty quickly. It just kind of teleported me back to the playable area. And as for the visual glitches, I noticed them a lot more during cutscenes than I do anything else. And it's not the end-all be-all. It would just be nice if the devs patched this. Another negative I have is I feel like the fast travel could have been slightly improved. So you fast travel by using flue powder, which you can travel to anywhere where there's like a flue powder stand. It kind of has a green flame, so you know that's where you can go. And obviously, like all games, you can't fast travel somewhere unless you've previously been there and unlocked it. The thing I would have changed just to kind of incentivize A, broom travel, and B, just further exploration is not made it so that you can use the flue powder anywhere. I would have liked it where you would have already had to be at a fast travel station in order to fast travel to a different fast travel station. And I also feel like flue powder could have been its own resource, so you can only fast travel if you have enough flue powder to get somewhere. Kind of like in Horizon Zero Dawn, where you have to craft fast travel packs in order to fast travel. Another aspect I found a little disappointing was the fact that there's no Quidditch. Now, this could be opened up in the future, and maybe they'll do a DLC for this game. We're still not really sure, but there's a Quidditch stadium in the game, but there's no actual playable Quidditch, which I thought was kind of an L. That would have been a really fun like mini game or little mode to do, and it's Harry Potter. Like Quidditch is a big deal in the Harry Potter world, so I thought they would have included it. But like I said, maybe they'll add this in the future and then it won't matter, but as of right now, it's a little disappointing that I can't play Quidditch. And the last negative I really have about this game, and this is the big one, is the fact that there aren't too many RPG elements. When it comes to dialogue trees, I'm typically finding that there's either A, questions to ask, B, you accept the quest in a nice tone, C, you reject the quest entirely, or D, you kind of just say something that progresses you the same way, but you say it in a meaner way, if you know what I mean. So it doesn't really matter what dialogue you pick, and I do really like a game that my dialogue options and my choices in the world matter and impact the story in some way. It doesn't look like there's too much of that here. Additionally, yes, you can kind of have some RPG elements with the house you pick and the gear you wear, but that doesn't really add too much. Other than that, most people are going to have the same experience playing this game. It doesn't really feel too RPG-ish to me. There are some elements that are there and there are others that aren't. But overall, I feel like it could have been done a little better, but it's not terrible. I just wish there were a little more moral choices involved. Apparently, once you start using the dark arts, your dialogue options with other NPCs in the world will change. I haven't unlocked them yet, so once again, maybe I'll change my opinion on this once I progress further in the story. But as of right now, it doesn't seem like a lot of your choices have any real impact on the story or the world around you. So, overall, what would I rate this game, and is it worth the money and hype? First of all, it is most certainly worth the money. I would say that the $60 asking price on PC is well above what you're going to get out of it. My general rule of thumb is that if you can get 60 hours out of a game and enjoy it, then it's worth the $60, and I'm 10 hours in right now, and I already can tell I'm going to play it way more than 60, so I'd say it was definitely worth the price. Is the game worth the hype? I would say absolutely. I mean, it has everything that a Harry Potter fan would want out of a Harry Potter game. You can cast spells, use the dark arts, mount hippogriffs. I mean, you can fly a broom around. Pretty much anything you can think of besides Quidditch is there, and you can do it. I mean, this game is really great, so I would say it was most certainly worth the hype. If I had to give this game a star rating, I would give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. It is super addicting so far. I can't wait to play more, and actually, I want to end this video right here so that I can go play it more. If you guys enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, as it truly does help my channel a lot. If you want to see more in the future, hit the subscribe button and leave a comment below. Do you guys have Hogwarts Legacy yet? Are you playing it? What do you think of the game? Let me know all of that below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.